And welcome back to the live stream. Today we're doing something a little bit different that we've actually sort of already done before, and that is we are going to mess around with some of these alto cornets. I'm playing a piece with a horn player by Erica Wazen that's for two horns, and I am trying to figure out how to sound closest to a horn without sounding also out of tune and in other words, I want to sound like a good horn player and not like a stuffy cornet, bad alto cornet player, right? Which is what I've been getting lately. So I'm going to mess with these things. I have an alto trumpet. Let's talk about what we were going to go through first. I've got an alto trumpet. This is my Bach alto in F that I've had modified to take a regular trumpet receiver, which at the moment I'm regretting because, well, there is not the 9AT is the mouthpiece that comes with this instrument, and it would probably be perfect for what I'm trying to do. But alas, now we have a trumpet receiver, and that can take. Let me find my mouthpieces here. That can take my alto, my bass trumpet mouthpiece, right? So which actually works pretty well, but it has more of a sort of trombone, like a high trombone voice, and I'm not looking for that so much. I'm looking for more of a horn color, and so we could try this other, we did this last maybe 2 streams ago. This is a very strange looking 10.5 CW blank that has been cut out to be sort of a, I don't know, it's like a horn mouthpiece kind of, but more like a bass trumpet horn mouthpiece, right? So this one sounds like. But it's still a little trumpety. Now, something I haven't tried yet is to put this alto. Oh, it fits. This is an alto cornet mouthpiece. Let's see what that sounds like. It looks very similar if you look at them side by side. I don't have my ring light on. Maybe I can switch over to this camera. And you can see. Let's see if. Turn that off. Turn this on. Okay. So you can sort of see these side by side, and they're very close in many ways. This is the alto cornet mouthpiece. This is the alto, the bass trumpet mouthpiece, and they're almost one for one in terms of their outer diameter, and the rims are also very similar. This alto cornet rim actually is a little flatter and a little wider, so maybe that'll work. Who knows? We'll find out. Oops, we don't need that one. Oh, interesting. Okay. Didn't work the way I thought it would, OBS. But okay, it does seem to have a taper that fits at least snugly in the trumpet receiver, and it's going to have a huge gap, but let's try it out. So it does sort of have a more diffuse sound, but that's not really what a horn sounds like, right? The horn doesn't sound diffuse. It sounds, the diffusion happens because it's facing the other way, but it doesn't have a diffuse sound. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making sense there. I think I prefer the middle mouthpiece just because I think it has a good blend of both. But this isn't even the instrument we're going to play. This is the template that I'm starting with to say, like, can I do better than this? So I have to also remember not to play with too much vibrato, or any really, because horns typically don't play with vibrato. Now, on the recording of this with Lisa Bontrager playing, she does use a little bit of vibrato sometimes, so maybe I can use a little bit, but it's really up to my duet partner whose recital this is going on, and I don't want to like do anything that she wouldn't want, right? Because it's not my recital. So anyway, this is the template. Those are some of the mouthpieces we might use. Now, that's not probably what we're going to play the most. I also brought some other stuff just for fun because we're playing with old trumpets here, and you never know what you're gonna end up with. Now this is my Alto Cornet, and I haven't really spent a lot of time playing it in my life or on the stream at all, but it's very, very cool. It's huge. Everything is huge about it. I mean, just look at it. It's so tanky. The bell is extremely thin, though. It's had some work done because somebody probably dropped it. It looks like right here, and if you dropped it from this height, it would definitely do that damage. But yeah, I can flex this bell. I don't know if you can see the flex, but I can flex this bell with my fingers. It's so thin with just 3 fingers. So really, and then the valves are also extremely leaky, which usually means it's not going to be good to play. But what you can do is you can find, if you have a good valve oil that is made for older horns, like this red Zone 5-star, or there are some Hetmans that are of different, now that we can buy Hetman again. And look at these top sprung valves. Just look at that. I don't know if you can really see what I'm talking about. Let me put it back to the other camera real quickly and we'll see it. So this top sprung, look at this, right? It's such a huge spring and it's just around there with nothing else. It's just completely out in the open, which is just terrifying. And then the valves themselves, look how much wear and pitting there is around the valves. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it's not a good shape instrument. But if I put this super heavy, it's really not that different than the regular valve oil. But if I pull all these out, right, and put the heavier valve oil on it, then for maybe one piece, I can kind of get it to play okay. You got to put really a lot of valve oil on there, and on both sides too. Make sure it's really dripping off of there. And then you got to hurry so it doesn't all leak out the bottom, right? So anyway, let me put you back over here. Finish screwing these in. And this came with that Alto Cornet mouthpiece. Now we can try other mouthpieces on it. And since we know that the Alto mouthpiece fits in the trumpet receiver, that means the Alto receiver is probably not that far from a trumpet receiver. Well, I don't know. This only fits a little bit in, but it is what came with it. So we'll play this a little bit as well. And this is also in F, I believe. I have my tuner here, which is going to be really important because some of these old instruments are also really out of tune, and or at least the way that we want to play them is not a very in tune way, and so we have to figure something out, right? So here we go. Let's get some notes. So already that's like flugelhorn plus, right? It's very foggy kind of sound, but I think it's good. If I can get this piece to be in tune. Now that was very sharp, which is great because I have plenty to pull out still. Well, I think anyway. Yeah, I can pull out some more, and I don't have the valves where they need to be either. But let's just play a little bit and see what we got. Let's see if I can play a different section. despite being pretty sharp, like I said, hopefully I can reel that in. But I kind of like the sound of it, and I'm half doing this so I can listen back to the video later and hear the difference between all these things. So in the spirit of that, right, I think I'm going to play my favorite at the end. I'll play my favorite version. So let's keep track of this. I'll write it down over here. We like the alto cornet, cornet as is. Nothing weird about it. I don't know what I would do to experiment with this right now anyway, except try other mouthpieces, which I guess I can try to see if they fit. I mean, that barely fits in there, but I guess we can try it. And then we liked the alto trumpet with 10.5, we'll say, because we know what that is. It's labeled that. So here we go with the bass trumpet mouthpiece on the alto cornet. It's just really too hard to get the lowest notes, and that might be a me thing today. Let's try this. This trumpet receiver is super long though, so I feel like we're starting to get into weird territory with the gap and the lengths and everything. But we'll try everything anyway. Yeah, see, this one doesn't work either. Now, just to see if it's my lip or not, let's try the original. So it's about half my lip and half that the valves have already gotten a little bit, they're too loose, you know, and the low range, what happens when you have leaky valves is the high range goes higher and the low range goes lower, and both of those ranges, as they're getting less settled, also gets more diffuse. You can feel like the air kind of leaking out and not going into the sound, and so that may be all we can do with this. But I like this as is. I'll probably practice that. And once when you stop changing mouthpieces so much, you can learn how you need to set into the low register or hold in the high register and figure it all out. So okay, so that's the alto cornet. We've already heard the alto trumpet. Now, what else can we play? Well, we've got this very interesting instrument here that you may have seen one time on the channel before when I first got it. And it is a Besson. I think it's a French Besson. It is an F Besson, which does not stand for French. That's his first name, which I can't remember off the top of my head. But this one does say Rule de Angoulême, Paris, with the star. And I bought it from Dylan, but they labeled it as a London one. And it's possible that they shipped the parts to London and this was assembled there. I would really trust Dylan more than my own work, but it's also possible that it was just mislabeled, or it was just too hard to date. But the 11,000 serial number also makes me think that it's pretty early, and it's got a nice French bead, a very thick French bead on it, which is strange, really. I've never seen one quite this shape. Anyway, why am I talking about this horn? It's clearly not an alto instrument, right? It's shepherd's crook design, just a regular cornet. But it doesn't exactly match, but it goes with my actual French Besson, right? And you can see there's nothing about these that are alike, not even really any braces or anything like that. The only brace that is similar is the cross braces here on the tuning slides, and the little buttons that come up off the ends of the slides, right? That's the only stuff that's really similar. And that these are probably, if this is a French Besson, then these are still probably pretty far apart. This one has a lot more stuff on the bell, meaning that they've won a lot more awards. And this one would have been a lot earlier. I don't remember the last time I looked what the date is that I thought, but if this is approximately 19, let's say 15, then this is probably almost 30 years older than that. So, and I don't think that you can add up the serial numbers because I don't think that they continue. But, oh, I've got maybe some spam on here. Yes, indeed, I have some spam. Well, I can't really ban people from my Restream chat, can I? Oh, heck yeah, I can. Okay, well, never mind. All right, so why am I talking about this instrument? Because it happens to be in a lot of keys, and we're going to try to put it in every single one of those keys. So now, if I wanted to play this just on a cornet, right, I'd have to play it down a fifth, which I simply can't do. I mean, technically, yeah, no, I can't do it. At least on a C instrument, I can't do it down a fifth. Now, as we make this longer, maybe we can find something that works, and that's kind of where I'm going with this. But, so right now it's in C, right? Let's check on that. Yeah, it's in C. It definitely needs that same valve oil treatment that we just gave it. And why does that work? Because the edges of the valves, right, and it has the same springs as the. I didn't tell you what this other instrument was. I'm sorry to say. This Alto is a Con, and it says on there made by Con, Elkhart, Indiana, and Worcester, Mass. Or Worcester, Mass. Worcester, Mass. That's how you say it. And it's got some nice engraving on the bell here that it's going to be hard to see, but you can sort of try to see it a little bit there if you zoom in. But much later instrument than this one, for sure. Okay, so anyway, but they have a similar design, interestingly. And let's see if we can get some valve oil on here, so that basically what you're doing is you're using the stickiness of the oil, right, that it wants to be close to itself, and it's kind of sealing up the gaps between the valve holes and the casings themselves so that it can't slip in between the valve and the casing, and instead has to go through the hole of the trumpet, right? So if you're not sure about how that works, get your own trumpet out and go to take a look and see if you can figure out what that is exactly. Hold on a second. Had to cough. Okay. So it's a nice sounding cornet. It's not very in tune. Again, it needs a valve job, I think. But that's in C. Now, it doesn't really have a C lead pipe, so that might be part of the problem. But, okay. So now what you can do, and I'll never be able to show you this, but I will try at least. Let's pull one of these valves out. And I'm going to give away the secret here. But if you look very carefully, let's see if I can get it close enough, but in focus enough. Okay, so on this pipe here, I'll see if I can shield it from some of the light just the right amount. You can't really see it, I'm sorry. Maybe I can get the other camera to see it. I'll try a little bit. But basically, on this pipe here, which should be kind of in focus at some point. I want to get some oblique light on it so that you can see. It has all these notches, and those notches say different note names, right? It starts with nothing. It doesn't say anything at the all the way in, which is what makes me think that it is supposed to be in C somewhat, right? But let's see, I have to put this in the right way. Yeah, okay, there it is. All of these were very tricky. They didn't really care about interoperability or anything like that. But okay, so it says on there C, SI, which is B, right? That's si do, as not in, as in do si do, but do re mi fa sol la si do is Italian solfege. So we put that right there, and that indicates that this instrument is supposed to be in B natural. So the first notch on all of, even the second valve actually has notches, but they couldn't fit the names in there, so you just have to trust it. And there's actually another second valve for this that is a little bit longer, and that's for the lowest one. But anyway, so we'll keep going here. Now, how do we make the rest of it in B? Well, we could pull the tuning slide out, but it actually has a long tuning slide. Oops, I didn't, I was sort of prepared. This box over here, I'll show it to you at the end once it's all finished. But this box over here is a coffin case for it, which is what we call those. It looks like a coffin, right? And it fits everything really very nicely. This probably should go downward. And this is almost an entirely complete set. I think it's missing one part. But okay, so is that the right top and bottom? I'm not sure. But this should be now in B natural. So let's see if it is. No, I didn't get the mouth pipe changed. So the mouth pipe says C, SI, as in C, but it might be, oh, there's a little flat. You can barely see it. So when you put it in B flat, you need this pipe, which means you need a different pipe. Let's see if that, nope, that doesn't go. Oh, I bet it's the curly Q. Yeah. And now I need a bit for that. So you have to sort of construct these horns and figure them out, but here we go. Nope. No, that's B flat. Okay, we did it wrong. This is what I mean. This is so hard to do, but you can hear that the sound is kind of close to what we were going for. I just have to figure out the right construction of this thing. Maybe this is it. This looks like a half step straight pipe. Yeah, it's not, the tonic is not very in tune, but everything else I can kind of wrangle. And this is just a straight 8 that's sort of contemporaneous to at least my other old horns. Probably not as old as this, but it's just a cornet mouthpiece that seems to fit and is about as deep as I wish to go. So it's kind of okay in B. I'm not sure. Maybe I've done something wrong. But let's see if we can get it into A. A should be easier to do. I want to put these all back so that I don't forget one. One of the things has to be on the instrument, so you have to sort of leave one back here. So I just leave the tuning slides out. That's the easiest way to do it. That way, because that's always going to go on there. Okay, let's see. Now, how would we get down to A? Well, first let's pull the slides. Oh, we didn't do B flat. Okay, B flat first. And we know which one goes on that because it's labeled, right? B flat it says on there. Yeah. So that has to go on there, which means if that was only barely B, then what are we going to do? We're going to have to put this on. This is a sort of extender for the tuning slide. Okay. Then we'll probably put the small one of these on because we have more room to go down. So now it's got all of this tubing on the side of it, right? And let us not forget to pull both of the the third and second valve slides as well. There we go. I like to just slightly over pull them because that way I know that I pulled it. I can see the line a little bit. And then if it's wrong, I can push it back in. But okay, let's see if this plays in B flat. Usually B flat is kind of the home key for a lot of these, but when it goes this many keys, we're going to go all the way down by half step, all the way to G. That's a lot of keys to play in, so it might not play well in all those. So I can't decide which of these tuning slides to use because it was too sharp with the smaller one, and it's just about starting right with the larger one, but the larger one feels real logy, so maybe the smaller one pulled out. So it has a very, I think, soft sound to it. I think it's still too directional, honestly, to do the sort of horn color competition. I wish I could put that alto mouthpiece in this instrument, but I just can't do it except for on one instance, and then that puts it in a very weird, bad key that's not in tune. So anyway, that's B flat. And I did a little transposition there to see if I could work that out. I could play this on a B flat instrument, so if I can find one that works, then okay. But all right, so now, how do we go down to A? Well, we're probably not going to get rid of this big pipe anymore, but we're definitely going to need the bigger one of these for A. We'll pull this to A right away. That rhymes. And we'll pull this to A as well. And we'll pull this to A as well. We'll make sure it says law on there. Yep, there's law. And these valves are a little better than the other ones, but that's just because they're smaller. Okay, now, how are we going to get down to A? Well, probably the pigtail, which is like a whole step, I believe. But then, so it looks like somebody had made, so you could put the pigtail and then one of these, but it barely fits in. That doesn't seem right, right? And then you've got these little tiny bits, but that just doesn't, that just falls right in. So it can't be that. So somebody must have had this made. This is not original to the horn, but it just happens to fit right in there. And then it sort of hits the back here. And then, and so it's not really perfect, but it is something at least that has a stable setting for your mouthpiece. And then you still have to play a small, a cornet mouthpiece. And now we're getting into, if this is A natural, we're getting into some territory where this cup is not going to be big enough to really do the tone justice on the length of the instrument. But let's see. I know what I did. So okay, so this is a whole step, but we were in B flat. Now we've put it in A flat, right? So what we have to do is take this back off, right? So this was not something that you would do on the fly. Take this back off, probably use the bigger one still, and this will probably be A. Let's see. B flat again. That one's B flat again. Okay, well, oops, I pushed that in. Well, huh. So we are going to need to use that. Maybe it's too early for the pigtail. Ah, I know what it is. Okay, so we do need to use this. This big long one. Oh, so Thomas asks, do you and your dad ever take random instruments like these and make duets with them? Sounds like it would be something fun to do with my dad. And not exactly. We have so many of them that what we often do is just try to get them to play, and then we see if we can play something together with them, just as a sort of can these two instruments work together? Because if we wanted to play them officially, then we would go. So it's more like we have a duet that we're trying to find instruments for. Okay, so here we go. I think this is going to work. But yeah, we also have to be in the same place, which we're not as much anymore, unfortunately. Okay, and let's use the shorter one of these. I don't know why there's two that are so close together. Maybe it's not high and low pitch because they're really very close together. So I'm not sure. One must have to go on the G. But okay, let's see. Oh. No matter what I do, I'm still in B flat. That doesn't make any sense, though. I guess this makes some sense that, okay. So if I have, we know if I put this in there, it's going to be A flat, right? Oh, it's a very flat. Well, I just can't seem to find A flat, unfortunately. I mean, I could pull this out, I guess. Well, this was a very flat A, though. I can't find A, that's what I can't find. Maybe that's what's going on with these two pipes. One is short. One is long. Normally you change out the mouth pipe only. So maybe it is just the long mouth pipe with the long tuning slide pulled out a little bit, right? Really long. Pull that out as well. Let's see if that makes A. Oh, finally we got it, an A. Okay, so for reference, future Gabriel, it is this pipe, the longer of the two. This is the shorter of the two. They're almost the same, but they're a little bit different, right? It's like a quarter tone difference there. And maybe actually, hold on. Maybe if I put this bit in, it'll give me 2 quarter tones, which makes a half tone. Let's try this with this pushed back in a little bit. That was the answer. This actually plays quite well in A now. which is who knows why, right? Let's try to play this now. Okay, if I have a part in F and I have an A cornet in my hands, I'm still going to transpose down, but what's the difference between F and A? Well, it's a major third, so down a major third should get me this part. So let's try that. So not really that bad, actually. A cornet is another contender, I think. Besson in A. And we have to remember how to do this now. The bit plus the A pipe plus the long one plus a little bit of pull here maybe. And then you got to pull the slides, of course. Okay, down to A flat. It's a really great key for it, actually, too. A cornet is. So, okay, we'll take the bit out. We use that as necessary. Sometimes it just makes it play a little better, but when you don't have the tuning yet, sometimes it just helps you get to the right tuning amount. So, now, how to get down to A flat? Well, we're definitely going to use these longer pipes. I'm going to push this in, though. And we already figured out we got to use this pigtail, right? So let's see if that's all we need to do. Perhaps also the bit. Let's put the bit back in and see if that helps. Where's the mouthpiece? There he is. Okay, A flat. Oh, we got to pull our slides. La flat. There it is. And the fourth one here. Oh, barely in there for the fourth one. And then this one. There it is. That one doesn't really, it didn't stay on there. But okay, here we go. Yeah, that's pretty good actually. So what's the difference between A flat and F? Well, it's a minor third, and so we can do the same thing again, but this is going to be in a bad key. I'm still going to try it though. It might sound nicer. So already I can tell you it's never going to be in tune. There's too many C sharps. There's no way to tune the instrument after you've set it up. You can't, there's nothing to pull on the fly the way that we have on modern instruments or even on other, I'm looking at my New York Wonder Cornet right now. It's got a pitch finder for every note. While that has its liabilities, it would certainly be welcome right now because I can't do anything about multiple valve notes and bad intonation on the instrument. So, all right, that's A flat. Now the final straw is A. And I can't remember how we get down there, but I do know we take the second valve out and we put in the low G, not the OG, but the low G second valve. And then we pull these slides one more to sol. Right? So you can see how long that got pulled, all of that pipe there. And we're certainly not going to take any pipes out, I think. See if we can get sol on here. Where is it? Sometimes you think you see a line. There isn't really one. There he is. Okay. And we put this in, so that's done. And okay, now how are we going to get down another half step? That's a very good question that I don't know the answer to. Except maybe let's look at all our bits. This is the way to do it, really. Just to try to figure out, like, maybe this is the answer. Maybe that's why this exists, but it's just so barely in there. Let's see what we get if I bet, actually, you know what? I bet it's this one. I bet it's the B flat pipe again. Barely in there. It just seems so wrong. This is the part that I think is missing, is there should be a single extender bit for a half step straight out from this that fits deeper in there, right? So I think this is going to be wrong, but let's try it and see where it's at anyway. I'll just play a couple. Oh, it's not far enough down. That's surprising. I don't know what to do. Well, I can certainly pull this a little bit. I remember having this problem before. I can pull both of these a little bit and get some distance there. I can put this bit in that bit. Ugh. And this bit, no, that's going to be too many. So you can see this is getting a little bit treacherous, this little sort of scaffolding that I've put together here. And so I doubt that this is quite the correct way to do it, but let's find out what happens. I mean, it certainly goes to G because it has the markings, so. Sort of works. It sort of works. Let's try the smaller bit to sort of put it down on something to get it. This also, by the way, these instruments tend not to smell very good, which is unfortunate. But now this is going to be way too sharp. Let's see. I don't know why I played Beethoven there, but that actually works pretty well, except that high C is pretty flat, but that might be the valves leaking again. So okay, now I don't know if this will work, but if this is low G, that means we only have to transpose this down a step, and that might kind of work. This mouthpiece is still too shallow now, but let's try it. Yeah, you know, not terrible, I guess. But I still think I liked it best in A. Something about the low A's, the overall length of it didn't get sort of logy and khaki, right? You tend to miss notes when the length of the instrument, it's just something about how many coils and how much, you know, it wasn't designed necessarily, even though it was designed to play in all these keys, it can't be designed to play in any one of those keys really, really well, or maybe only one of them, and then the other ones are all compensated for, you know, or sacrificed, I guess you could say. So anyway, but this is this very interesting Besson that I've had for over a year now, and I haven't really done anything with it, but I want to start doing more stuff with it, and if you just play it a little bit every day or every week, then you start to figure it out. So okay, let's see if we can get it back into A, and then I did bring my Besson C trumpet that is also in B natural and B flat and A, and so we could put that in A and see how that plays. And I actually have the exact same mouthpiece for it, so that might be an interesting thing to do as well. So let's put this all back where it belongs first. This goes here. The pigtail does not happen with A. These do, and they get pulled a little bit, we said. Then we think that this is the A pipe. Yes. We'll put this bit in. We'll double check that that is correct on just the open notes. That's right, and now we push these back into A. I guess we could have done that anytime. See, there's law. Oh, we got to take the second valve out, put it back in the case, and get this back out. And law is, let's see, B, B flat, A. Okay, it's the third one. There we go. And then we got to push the third valve back in. It's funny, it's designed to do this way, and that's the opposite of the way I want to do it. There we go. All right, so in A, you have to be careful. This first valve bounces, so you get a lot of you can see it there if you, I don't know if the camera is fast enough to catch it, but it sort of goes in alignment and then bounces back out of alignment. And that's because of the way the corks on the bottom are a little, maybe they're, I don't know, they're just a little too springy, right? I need some deader corks. Or maybe the spring itself is a little too oversprung. So anyway, we've got this instrument, right? Move some stuff around. I'll put it back in its case. I think I can do that without it being bad for the lead pipe. Oh, what's catching? Oh, it can't be put in the case with the extender on it. Well, it can be, but it's got to be all the way in. Maybe that's what it is. Yep, that's what it was. Okay. And we had our Alto cornet with the Alto cornet mouthpiece. Where did it go? Okay, there it is. Let's check to see, make sure that's still working good. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. This is in E flat, not in F, which just means I have to play it up a step. Yep, up a step, which is fine, but I didn't do that before, so maybe that's why the low notes were so bad. They were a whole step low. I didn't have the tuner out, and I don't have perfect pitch, so, well, what are you going to do? So, okay, this is another one, though, that we want to try, and then we have the alto that is, in fact, in F with this 10.5 C bass trumpet thing. So let's check that out. Certainly the most direct of these instruments. And then, just for fun, we'll take this French Besson trumpet, and right now it's in the key of kind of C. We'll get its bits and pieces out. Let me find the one that we need here. There we go. I keep them in these little bags. Little bags. Great internet video reference if anybody gets it. And this one is a quick pull to A, so it's got this little stop rod, and basically you just pull it right out and it goes right into A. Now you do have to still pull all the valves, and these ones are marked, but they're not marked with any label, so it's probably C, B, B flat, and A, and D flat isn't real on this instrument. Now the problem is it's a pistol grip third valve, so pulling the third valve out to A, it has like the sort of Bach style. This is pre-Bach, but the Bach style pull out to empty the spit kind of thing. And you kind of, if you want to play it in this key, you have to kind of put that out a little bit, but then you have to remember that it's out, because if you pull, see if I can catch it if I do it. If you pull this in without depressing the valve, it'll put pressure, see, along, and this will pop right out and of course fall on the floor, see? So you have to make sure that it has enough kind of tackiness that if you do mess it up a little bit, that it won't. But you just don't do it, right? Just always have the valve down when you move that slide, and you're fine. And so it'll take me a second to get this instrument set up at the end so that I can play the exact same cornet / trumpet mouthpiece, because it happens to be, well, I'll show it to you now so that I don't have to waste time when I'm showing it to you then. Where is the cornet mouthpieces? Here. Okay. So this is a very cool set of a Bach cornet mouthpiece, New York era with the comma, and this is the trumpet. I should show it to you so you can see the whole stupid thing. I'll bring them close to me so you can see them. Bach made this, I guess. It's somewhat controversial. When I bought it, it was supposed to be 1917, which is like the first mouthpieces Bach ever made with his name on them. And I thought, wow, that's so cool, I got to have it. And it wasn't that expensive. And they certainly are a pair because they do share a rim. You can see this is just the threads, right? Oh man, I can't get the focus to save my life today. Where did it go on this in this camera? Okay, that's where it is. So if I bring it straight back, there we go. You can see that's just threads, right? And this also is threaded. And so, and it goes right on there. And they have similar, but not identical typeface, which is interesting, right? So, and I don't think they made threaded rims first. So I'm thinking this is more mid-20s to even 40s. And it might have been that somebody had these two mouthpieces in the 20s or even 30s, and then got the rim cut so that they could have one rim for whatever reason. Maybe they liked the rim on one better than the other, and so they had them both cut so that they would have the same rim and they could change. Who knows? But anyway, all right. So we'll put this one in the Besson, and I guess we'll put this one in the other Besson without a rim, and we'll fix it up when we get there. And we'll just hope that it plays okay. I guess I could play another mouthpiece real quick to see how that goes. Okay, so now let's read a different part of this that we haven't played yet. And for Gabriel in the future, this is at 54.5 minutes, which is a long time. I'm sorry I've taken everybody's time. I always do this about an hour because that's how long I can focus, and then I need a break. So anyway, about 50, let's say 55 minutes. That's easy to remember. I'll write it down so that I don't have to. 55 minutes. This will be the comparison between all of them. And let's start with what we started with, right? Not with what we think will work necessarily. And I'll play a different part. And this is, in fact, on F alto trumpet. And I'm just going to play a little bit. I need to play, well, we maybe can't play a different part because I need to play the part that has the low notes as well as lyrical stuff. So let's just play what we've been playing. That's fine. And I'm just going to hit them one at a time and just show them to the camera beforehand so that you can see which one I'm playing. Gabriel in the future, and then we'll see which one we like best. And please comment below which one you like best. I am not sold necessarily on any of these, so your comments are absolutely going to be helpful. Okay, thank you. Okay, I think those are all the ones we want to do. And just for comparison's sake, the same mouthpiece type, I guess I can't actually play the same one because it bottoms out, on my B-flat trumpet. And I'll just do a little bit of this, let's see, down a fourth, I think. Yeah, down a fourth. So let's try that. So I get a little sticky third valve there, but that's me trying to imagine the piece still. I'm not playing with my trumpetiest tone, right? But that's as close as I can get right now, at least, on the B-flat trumpet as normal, and the Besson and the Besson cornet and the alto trumpet and the alto cornet. So comment down below what you like the best. I'm going to go watch the video right now and comment down below what I liked best. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little demonstration. I try to do some of this stuff. Well, I try to do it once a month, and I end up doing it once a year. There's just too much to practice, honestly, day to day. And with other stuff going on, gigs and other kinds of practice, it's hard to get to this stuff. But since this gig is coming up and I need to choose, this became urgent, and so it just happened that I could show it to you. Anyway, I hope you learned something about trumpets and different kinds of trumpets. I just had a student in my office that said, I told him all the trumpets that were in my office, and he said, I didn't even know there were that many kinds of trumpets. Well, yeah, not only that, but there's other kinds as well that really aren't in anybody's office, right? So there's a world out there to explore. I didn't get the bass trumpet out. I guess we could do. Man, I hate to do it as a bonus, but let's get the bass trumpet out and try to do it on bass trumpet. Why not, right? I'm sure it won't be good, but it might be something, even if it's not good, and instead it's something else. I like the bass trumpet because it makes me look like a tiny person instead of it looking big, right? I just look like I shrunk a bunch if you if you sort of are looking the way I'm looking. So and I would normally play it with my bass trumpet mouthpiece, but let's try it with the same mouthpiece that we tried the alto trumpet and see if I can get it to sound good. Now, this is going to be up a fourth now, which sucks. But we'll do our best. Not the transposition doesn't suck, it just sucks that I have to play that high in the partials. But maybe that's more like a horn, because that's where this would be in the horn register, right? If this, it would be an octave, no, 2 octaves below this, and also in F. So 2.5 octaves below this is where they're playing, I think, or 1.5 octaves. Anyway. It may be that I played this so many times on so many big trumpets, but this seemed like the worst answer to me. The most direct with the most nebulous bad sound. So I don't think I'll probably choose this, but I'll listen to the tape just like you, and we'll all see together. All right, that's going to be it for today. I will see you next week, and until then, practice every day.